Good evening, everyone. Uh-oh, did I do something? Oh, shit. Just for a moment. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The first thing I always love to do is say welcome. I know we have some people, this is their first time, so I'm so excited if this is your first monthly call. And please stay to the end. I promise you that we will only be 1 hour, but then we're going to have something that's called the after party. So on the after party, you can stay on and we can stay on and chat as long as you want. So again, welcome to our FarmaSIS monthly call. Just for a second, Regina. Our mission with FarmaSIS is to educate, train, and inspire. I'm going to say also empower at least 10,000 Black women to grow their own food. That's our movement, our mission. So we want to inspire. We already have about 10,000. We just need to make sure we all come together and be working as a collective. And our vision is to work collectively as women to promote health and wellness through nature. This is one of the reasons why FarmaSIS exists, is we got to get healthy, got to get back to good health, and to initiate economic development. So that's our mission, that's our vision. The FarmaSIS class, they know that that's something that they need to learn. They have to know that before I'm going to let them graduate. And so that's why we exist. And so for 1 minute, just 1 minute, I want us just to get on one accord. We're going to meditate. Is Sister Ethel on the line by chance? Ethel, if you're on the line, can you see her, Regina? Because I can't see her. Okay. Well, we're just going to take 1 minute, sisters, and take a breath. I definitely need one because I've had an amazing, crazy 24 hours, past 24 hours, and I just need to take a moment just to breathe. And so again, let's take 1 minute to breathe, meditate, pray, say thank you. And I'm gonna make sure we be 1 minute and not 1 minute over. All right, again, this time is for us to get on one accord. Thank you, Regina. So just do whatever you need, and I'm gonna be quiet just for 1 minute.
And that is time, sisters.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I needed that rest.
Your songbird was wonderful in the background.
Thank you. I know. I love my birds. Listen, if that felt long to anyone, that means you need to slow your life down. You need to slow it down if that felt long. So I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds on my past 24 hours. I flew from the West Coast, got into Atlanta yesterday at about 8 o'clock, and I didn't get home until today, about an hour or two ago. I was in the airport that long. But God knew I had to get home to this meeting. I did have my iPad, but I want to be home because this is my comfort zone. Because we got our super sister star, Emily, tonight, and I just want to be home. So one of the reasons it is on Tuesday night is because last night I was still in California. I was going to be traveling. I'm sorry, I was on the plane at 7 o'clock last night, and I don't want to miss any of these calls. but normally it's on Monday, the third Monday of the month. The third Monday of the month is when these calls are. And again, I was being a little selfish. I didn't want to miss any calls. So only for this month is it going to be on Tuesday. And Emily, thank you so much. I appreciate you being flexible and changing it for my selfish self because I didn't want to miss it. But now that I think about it, I think there was a way for me to be on the plane, but I didn't want to take no chances. So Emily and I, and Regina's going to introduce her, but I just want to let you know how she and I met. We were in a class together. And if you know me, you know I love a class. Honey, I love to learn and learn new things. And we were in a class together. And she is the only sister that I know, maybe two, that are tree farmers. So I'm fascinated by that. And
Miss Ruth is one.
who?
Miss Ruth. Miss Ruth
Okay.
Baranda.
All right. Yes, she is. So thank you again. But before we dive into it, I want to say this before I forget. Now I'm going to do some announcements at the end. But tonight, you see me in this hat and this outfit. There's a sister who is on the line. Her name is Tamika Muhammad. She grows hemp. And this is made from hemp material. And I purchased it from her. And so I have on the hat. This is a two-piece. I'm going to try to stand up and model for y'all. I don't know if you can see me, but it's a two-piece. It's a skirt. And these are the sandals. So I have a hat, two-piece, and some sandals by Sister Muhammad. And when we do the announcements at the end, she's going to tell you about a really amazing big event that they're having this week. And I also have on some earrings by Sister Keisha, Sweetgrass earrings. And I have some cha-cha by Sister Joyce Winkler. So I just want to highlight these things that I'm all eating and decked out with things that are produced by our sisters. Aren't we amazing? Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm all decked out with stuff I bought from Tamika and Keisha, and I got my my vittles from Miss Joy. So again, I just want to highlight those three sisters. All right, Miss Regina.
Well, I have the distinct pleasure of sharing a little bit about Ms. Jackson with you. She is a native of Chester, South Carolina. By reading her biography, and I'll share it just with you in a moment in the chat, but it sounds like she is just getting back to herself. Like she grew up doing this kind of thing, experiencing being on the farm with her granduncle and her grandparents. And so now she has the pleasure of presenting to us the farm, her tree farm, and sharing a little bit more about her space, how she's done it, her process. And so, Miss Emily.
Yes.
Okay, I see you. Whenever you're ready to go.
Okay, I'm ready to share my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it said host disabled participant sharing screen.
Will you retry it again for me, please, now?
Yes. Now, is that good?
So we are seeing not your presentation yet. We're not seeing your presentation.
Are
We're
you
still
seeing it now?
your app. Now we can. And if you would, please mute your camera to free up your bandwidth with us.
Okay, perfect. I am in a rural community here. So let me see how I need to do that. Stop video, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does that help?
Yes, ma'am. There's no lag in your voice. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here this evening. And thank you, Ms. Regina, and thank you, Ms. Bonita, for having me. I'm just excited just to be a part of this FarmaSIS. And I'd like to also first congratulate Ms. Benita on being named the Farmer of the Year at the South Carolina Black Farmers Conference, and we should give her all a big hand for doing that. So congratulations, Benita, for that. And so this presentation that I'll be doing with, it's just basically who we are, and it will be our story. It will be a little technical, but not too technical because I'm still learning myself. We're known as Davis Farms Healing Pines in Blair, South Carolina. And I'd like to first just thank my father, Joe Davis, who has entrusted me with the land and legacy. And also our fourth generation who are stepping up to the plate. I'm the third generation. And I just like to thank that fourth generation who has stepped up to the plate to maintain our legacy and vision. Share a little bit more about them at the end of the presentation. I'd also like to thank Ms. Benita and this platform of FarmaSIS. And it's just amazing. As she said, we were at a class, I think it was months long, and we were presenting and pitching our business for a grant. And I was able to even enjoy her hibiscus tea, and we've stayed in touch since then. And it was through Acres, which is another resource which you'll know I'll have at the end of my presentation, and that's the Agribusiness Center for Research and Entrepreneurship here in South Carolina. And I'd like to thank each one of you all who are a part of this platform and this forum tonight, because, you know, we're going to hold each one of us accountable, and we encourage each other to do great things in this area, just as Ms. Benita mentioned at the beginning of all these wonderful products and things that are being produced by our sisters. So I thank each and every one of you. I guess you say, what is and why a tree farm, and why should we grow trees? And the reason why our family grew trees, it's basically for profit. My father says that the trees actually paid for my college education, which I do believe. We grow pine, we grow loblolly, which is prominent here in South Carolina. Longleaf is, I do believe, and if someone want to correct me, I do believe it's actually longleaf is found more coastal region. And you know, and you've oftentimes see people sell Christmas trees during Christmas time. So they are Christmas tree farms. And then there are hardwood farms for producing of lumber and furniture and things like that. Tree farm is actually a long-term investment. It takes anywhere from 10 to 30 years for it to produce a very good harvest, or I guess a harvest that's profitable in a sense. And so a tree farmer may see 2 or 3 harvests in their lifetime. And also tree farms are good for recreation, the aesthetics, and wildlife. So our family have enjoyed this land for a while. And please feel free to stop me, or if anybody has anything in the chat that want to ask me any questions. But just to give you an idea of the timber industry, it's a large impact on South Carolina's industry, and it's $21 billion. And hardwood and softwood are the pines. They're about 50-50 what the state actually produces. It's over almost 13 million acres of forest land. And the majority of that forest land is actually heavily owned, almost 87%. And 63% of those forests are family owned. And the average family forest is about 80 acres, and 56% of those owners actually live on their land. So my dad actually lives on the property right now. So South Carolina has, this is one of the major industries in in South Carolina, as you can see. And these are just some examples of common household products that are made from wood, and everyone uses one or more of these products. And as you can see, wood is an essential product. There's a couple of them on there that I didn't even realize, such as toothpaste, my makeup that I may use, and even diapers and feminine hygiene products or use wood. You would never know that your toothpaste, that you're brushing your teeth with toothpaste. And this is how who we are and how it all got started. My grandfather and great uncle purchased over 130 plus acres back in I think it was in probably the 30s. And they purchased it for $4 an acre, which is approximately $520. That was a lot back then because my great uncle was in New York. My father gives me the story. And he sent the money back to my grandfather to purchase this land at the time. You can't even buy an acre today for $520. So this was a great purchase at the time. Small parcels were sold to family members throughout the years, and now we own about 120 acres. And if you see on this picture, it's an elongated property. There is a creek on it also. And just to give you an importance of defined boundaries, we were getting ready to do a clear cut, which it's my first project of doing a clear cut, which means cutting all the wood off the land. And we were going to do about a 30-acre area. And if you can see where it cut, and we ran into the problems of boundary lines. And it just so happens that it was a favorite cousin that my father had. I think his father had walked off 6 acres of land. And when the surveyors were out there trying to define the boundaries, there were nothing recorded or anything. And so it actually stopped the whole project, and we had to go and get a survey. We contacted the family members of my cousin who had just recently died, and she died without a will because it all went to heir property. It went to her half sibling and her children, which is, I think it's about 7 or 8 of the children. But it just so happens that because of the fact that we are close, we were able to resolve the issue of the boundaries, and we moved ahead with the project. We were complimented on how we actually resolved it, because the surveyor was like, I've never worked with a family to resolve an issue like that. So it's very good. But I must say the importance of wills and succession of property is very important. And I think from our first session that we had with Miss Ebony Alexander of the Black Will Land and Trust, she was stressing the importance of documentation. So it's very important for us to have documents in place and a succession plan, especially when you're dealing with property, real property. And to continue on how we got started, my dad raised livestock. Well, they raised livestock. My grandfather and my great uncle raised livestock. They had a small cotton farm. I never realized that cotton was not a very good product. It was a good cash product at the time, but it depletes. Growing cotton actually depletes the nutrients from the farmland. So when I learned that, all I could think of our ancestors tilling the soil and trying to make cotton grow, and it was just the opposite. That was eye-opening. They actually sold and harvested wood. They had a self-operating pulpwood business. They had trucks, and they actually had the saw logs and the I guess the hoist and things like that. My great uncle and granddaddy actually built a small cabin from materials from the land. That cabin still is on the property, and it is very solid. It's very solid, and we're hoping to renovate it. That's one of our future projects to renovate the small cabin and use it for like a Verbo or Airbnb. One of the most interesting things that I learned also about what they did at the beginning, they had a contract with Borden's, I guess it's the milk people. They sold milk to Borden's. And one thing that they did, which I thought was business savvy, but it may have been a little unethical, was they not only had cows, but they also had goats. And so my father said that goat milk is a little bit heavier because I guess it's more creamier. And they would actually blend the two milks together and sell it to Borden's for a better profit. So I thought that was a very interesting thing that they did, and I was very impressed that they had a major contract with a major producer during that time. So it was self-sustaining, income generating. They had some business savvy, and as I said initially, the wood sales put me through college. And after my father retired from the Army, he and my Uncle Buster, his name is David. There's a typo. David Davis. They raised goats. And they had a small farm, self-sustaining farm, and they actually continued to sell wood. This picture right here is my father and myself, along with Project Forester, Chase Folks from the South Carolina Forestry. And this is where we first, I became interested in 2018. And we needed to put together a forest management plan to decide what we were going to do. Now, here's another picture with my dad on the land. And as you can see, our farm is naturally generated pines. There's sparseness. I don't know if you see me? Well, you probably, okay. Do you see my mouse? Are you able to see my mouse move?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Oh, okay. Do you see the sparseness here? And this is naturally generated pine on this picture here. Although my father did exactly what they knew to do at the time, it's my turn to, and within this next slide, you see that the trees are tall and straight. And these are tree stands that are planted with genetically improved plants. And now today, trees grow stronger and faster. You can do a thinning on a stand, and when I say stand, that means that it's just like acreage in where you have a planting anywhere from 20 to 30, 40 acres per area. And then this is a pine stand right here, and this one right here is a hardwood. And this hardwood stand is where we visited a farm in Cleveland, South Carolina. And I think they had over 300 acres. Not only did they have pine, but they also had hardwood. So this is one of my goals, to get our trees to begin looking like this. And focusing on pine versus the hardwood. Okay, these are some of the activities that that's happening with us now on the land. We lease to hunters. We have an annual lease. We do small gardening. Basically, my dad could really grow big vegetables, big cabbages and all. And just recently, we have contracted to do a clear cut. And we worked with a consultant forester. We'll be doing a replanting after that clear cut, probably in December of 2024, because you replant in December to January, and the cut has yet to be done because of the wetness of the land. And we're doing maybe about 40 acres. We had a hard time, just to give you an idea, and because of our land like that this, because of the sparseness of the land, we had a hard time getting cutters to bid for our property because it was just so sparse and the terrain wasn't I guess favorable for bidding for I guess a profit not only for the landowner but also a profit for the company that was going to harvest it. And so the replanting is going to be very important. I'm actually doing a master tree farmer class. I'm back in class again, Miss Benita. And I will become a master tree farmer come May of this year. And then succession planning. The succession planning is always, it's a living, moving document. What to do next and who will do it next. And the importance of will and succession planning. You have to write it down, because if it's not written down, it didn't happen or it won't happen. And I'm as a professional, I'm also a regulatory coordinator, and it's the same in regulatory. If it's not written down somewhere, then it never happened. So this is a picture of an active timber harvesting operation. You see those very good logs, wonderful, pretty logs, and that's lots of money. As you see, I don't know if you all take notice of trees. I mean, trucks that are hauling trees. And so now that I know what a very good tree looks like for harvesting and for selling, I'm always taking note of which trees are the naturally generated trees or the harvested trees, and which one will have the most money, income. So I actually took a bus tour of to see this operation, and also learn about South Carolina forestry practice to protect and also enhance non-timber resources. A lot of people say, why clear cut? But you actually regenerate a lot of the harvested wood back. Some of our future goals, am I on task right here? I'm not, I have only a couple more slides. Some of our future goals these are where we're going, the reforestations that I mentioned about in 2024. And I want to become a certified tree farmer. I actually want our farmland to become a certified tree farm where we'll be generating a better product and increase our income. And so that's a major application, and you actually have to have someone come in and inspect and confirm your practices that you put in place. At entertainment sites such as weddings, concerts, family reunions, we're already doing the hunting, agribusiness, Airbnb, wellness camp, hiking trails, and on-set movie site is actually some of the things that the fourth generation have come up with. And the on-set movie site, my daughter was at a seminar in reference to, she's a producer, and she found out that you could list your property, and it's through the Location South Carolina Film Commission. So that's another way to generate income. And here's another picture of the Davis Farms. And these are the resources. These are some of the resources that I've been experiencing in. And actually, I started out with minority landowners conferences, and that's how I met Miss Ruth, I do believe, at one of the minority landowners conferences. I met she and her mother at the time as tree farmers. And Air Property Preservation Center for Air Property is an important one. The USDA is very important. I forgot to mention that my father is a veteran, and as a veteran, you're considered a minority. Is it a minority? You could be female, Black, and also a veteran, or I can't remember the name of, I can't remember the exact name that they classify you as, but it's basically a minority, and you're supposed to get first dibs on certain I'm drawing a blank, but you get priority in some of the grants. And once you begin the journey of becoming a farmer, a forester, agribusiness entrepreneur, you begin to gain so much more information. I mean, so these are just some of the resources that I use. And it just so happens that I did just a backstory. The minority landowners was a Tuskegee fellow alumni, and he knew, I told him about us owning property, and he invited me to the landowners conference. And also during the clear cut, another Tuskegee alum, and I'm a Tuskegee alumni, and he actually is a forester for an NC State. And so he actually referred me to the gentleman that helped us with the clear cut here in South Carolina. So I felt comfortable doing what I'm just learning to do, because I had so much support. And so all you really have to do is just ask and seek out as much information. This platform such as FarmaSIS is so important for your networking and your success. And as I was mentioning, the fourth generation that is taken on the Davis farm. This is my this gentleman right here is my nephew. He's the only grandson of my father. And this young lady is my daughter, Emma. And she has actually done a documentary just recently on the farm. And so that's her walking with my dad. They have taken up the mantle, and they plan to keep the land in the family. They've taken classes in agribusiness. As I mentioned, her film has been submitted to a film festival. And just the key takeaway for this presentation about any property that you may own, just make sure that you have succession and that your land is in the hands of someone who actually it is proven to be fiscally responsible. Try to avoid liens on your property. Try to avoid parceling, and try to avoid because if you parcel out your land to someone who's not interested in keeping it all together, they'll sell it to somebody else, and then you find it, you're not benefiting from your general wealth. So I'm proud of these two young people who have actually, you said, stepped up to the plate. And do I have any questions or comments? I think that I'd stay within a little about 5 minutes.
First, I want to say thank you. Oh, thank you, Emily. Oh, thank you so much. So now we're going to go to questions, as she said. But before we get to the questions, I want to go over a few things you said, right? Very, very want to stress. She talked about heiress property, and we're going to have someone to come on from heiress property, because that's one of the ways that our community, our people are losing a lot of land through heiress property. And there are a lot of rules, and we need to be educated on that. So we're going to talk about that more. Thank you for putting up the resources. And I want everybody to know we'll send this out. We'll send the recording out. Those resources are priceless, and people are always asking for resources. So thank you for those. And I love when you said it is a $21 billion industry.
It is. Wood
is and I think, we don't think about it a lot. We don't think about wood as being something that we can do, having some land and having it wood. And ladies, if you don't know, now you know.
Yes.
And you talked about a clear cut. What's the other cut? There are two. I remember hearing about two types of cuts.
The thinning
and the clear. Okay.
Yeah, that's where you go in and you take take away the trees and you could get money for that. And the other trees continue to grow larger. They get better sunshine and get more nutrients from once you clear cut around. And then it's a lot of other things that you do also, burning, prescribed burnings.
Yeah.
That's why I said it wasn't going to be too technical. I'm learning all of this stuff myself. But and then you have the chemical dusting of the property to kill all the underbrush so that you can get the better quality trees also.
Okay. So 2 words you use, and I want you all to know when you're in agriculture, this is what it is about too: sustainability and profitability.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business, and we have to treat
is.
it like that. And so, yeah, and your family has done an excellent job. And I'm telling you, tears almost came to my eyes when I saw the next generation.
Yes.
we have to plan that way. We have to pass the torch.
Yes. And just to say, I'm in that master class, and I actually thought it was going to be something simple and easy, it's very technical and it's very hard. I'm struggling a little bit. I don't know if it's because I'm not interested in thinking too hard, but it's very technical, and it's through Clemson Extension. So yeah, they're making us work for our certification for sure.
Well, good. I'm glad you're in there. Yeah, we need to make sure we're educated about whatever field we're in.
Yes.
Remember I found out earlier about saying I love classes. I do. Now, one thing I really want to get to is a prescribed burn. I haven't gotten to one yet. Every time there is one, I'm always out of town. But I want to watch that.
I do too. I do too.
Okay.
I'm looking forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But and another thing I would like to stress is be persistent. Be persistent in your pursuit for information, because of the fact that even in this the Master Tree Farmer class, I saw it maybe a year and a half ago, and I reached out, and I like, who does this and who does it, and I just kept emailing. And so when the class came back open, I got an email. But it was the persistence and just the wait, also the patience.
Amen. Okay, so I've had you long enough to myself. Open up for questions. I know we have some questions. Come on in, questions.
Hi, I'm Ruth. Hi, Emily. Good to see you again. It's been a
Hi,
while.
Ruth.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
And we're both taking this Master Tree Farmers class. I have it too. I liked it because it was hybrid, and the tours at the end I'm avoiding because all the work on the farm. But I just wanted to add a few things. You did an excellent presentation, and thank you so much. And when Benita and I met, it was just like she just loves trees now. And there's so much to trees, and all those resources you gave were excellent. And I'm going to put again in the chat box my information. But they taking that class is not easy, but it's a follow-up to the little bits and pieces, as you say, from all those resources. But it really puts it together, because I have a master's in math, okay? And 40 years of math teacher, kindergarten through college. And this master, I thought, oh God, do I want another master? And they're putting you through it. It's not easy at all, but you learn so much. And they sent me the book. Did you get the book?
I know. I was like,
I know. It's like, okay, I read the slides. I'm like taking the class and taking the quizzes. So it's a lot of fun and a lot of knowledge. But I just wanted to add 2 more things to your presentation about the sales tax exemption that Governor McMaster passed last year in March. The South Carolina agricultural sales tax exemption. So if you don't have that, $24, you apply online, and you will be exempt from paying sales tax in a lot of locations. And for example, Emily, I'm going to holler them out: Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Ace, Advance Auto, and recently Walmart. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, Walmart.
Okay.
Yes, a 1-page form and customer service. I needed 4 tires, and they say, I don't know anything about that. I went to customer service and completed. So everybody on this forum here should get South Carolina under Google, agricultural exempt tax, $24, and it's good for 3 years. The next thing, Emily, if you don't know it, I've had a contract with NCX for not cutting my trees. My trees are not ready to cut. So they are carbon sequestration that I've heard that through this Senator Bear's property at one of their last 2 years ago, the 6th annual symposium. And the Senator Bear's property, I speak with them at the public libraries. So teacher would never finish teaching. So since I have 30 acres in Darlington and 8 acres in Chesterfield, I use the library community room on Saturdays, 12 to 2. And I book the events with the Senator Bear's property. A lawyer speaks first about the wheels and everything you mentioned and trust. And then a forester speaks. And then I come in with information like the sales tax, NCX, that kind of contracts I've gotten with NCRS. And I bring my publications, those resources you said. You can't know enough and learn enough because farming, you're surrounded by trees, you're down dirt roads, and there's a lot going on. So this last modular I'm on, Emily, this tax exempt taxes and information on that, that's been unbelievable. It's like, okay, let me go over this again. Have I been claiming enough taxes? But that forest management plan is the key. And through the Senator Bear's property, you get it for free. Where in the beginning, when I got one, I paid $400 for it, but the Senator Bear's property free. And also when you are with them, like the contracts through NCRS, you're pushed to the top of the pile. So the state gets so much money for forestry when you're part of these contracts. And through the Senator Bear's property, you're pushed to the top for a certain percent of those contracts. So that's another reason to go with them. So I'm just nothing else, Emily. I'm not.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah, I really appreciate that because the taxes is, I still have yet to understand those. And so I will definitely reach out. Thank you so much.
I see quite a few questions. Regina, can you get to those? But before she get to them, you know, we talked about people losing land through as property, but also, and I don't know if this is still going on a lot, but people have been knocking on doors and say, we'll give you a certain amount for your timber. And it sounds like a lot. And they've said yes, when the person who's knocked on the door has grossly undervalued on purpose. And so a lot of our people have been taken advantage of because it sounds like a lot, you know. Sam Cook,
Benita, the other thing they're doing is sending you a letter. We're in the area,
letters too.
cutting down trees. That's another scam. They're not in the area, but they just want to see, are you going to let them cut your trees down? And they may have $10,000 in their hand and your trees are worth 15, 20,000. So don't go for the okie doke.
Don't go for the okie doke. Call Ruth, call Emily. Call Emily.
Yes. And always use a consultant, a forester consultant. And you mentioned Emily, Sam.
Call Emily, call Ruth. I'm telling you, because they're going to tell you the right ones. Because there are some consultants out there. I don't know if the sister's on the line. I'm not going to call her name, but she had an issue with a consultant. I'm going to repeat this one more time. Call Ruth, call Emily. If you got some trees, if you know someone who has some trees, and get the consultant, use the one that they use. They've already vetted this person. Like she said, they might bring 20,000 to the door, but your trees might be worth 100, but you don't know. But they know. But they know. Okay, question.
Ladies, we have a question. Miss Natasha Hatton asked you, Miss Emily. She says, thank you. How long would the new planting take for clear cutting?
Oh, once again, how long the planting will take?
How long will this new planting take for clear cutting?
I guess I'm not really understanding. Okay, the clear cut. Once you completed a contract, they have at 12 months to cut the property or the areas that you've designated or they've surveyed out. And then it takes a year after the clear cut, and then you replant. Okay. You replant after the year has passed, and you replant during the December, January planting seasons. Does that answer your question?
Ms. Hatton, does that answer your question?
No. Okay, so after you replant, how long will you let them grow before you cut again?
Oh my gosh, anywhere from 10 to 15, you make thin, 15 years. That's why I say it's a long-term investment. Anywhere from the new genetically trees may give you a thinning at the year 10, but mainly probably at the year 15. But then you would go to 25 and 30 years before you can cut again. Before you can cut again.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, in
you
the
have
beginning,
another
you said there
question?
would be, I'm sorry, you said there would be, in your lifetime, in a lifetime, you'll see 2 to 3 cuts, right?
Right, because they're so sparse. I mean, it
Okay.
takes so long.
Yeah.
Trees grow long. If you're doing hardwood, I learned in my class, hardwood can grow up to 60 years. A good hardwood harvest, but pines tend to grow faster.
That's the thing we're planning there. Okay.
And
Miss
that's another thing.
Emily, is
when
there
you-
a
when you-
minimum acreage for tree farms?
To be attractive to the harvesters, I've been told that they want no less than 30 acres.
Got it.
And
So,
also, when they do a clear cut, do you need to make sure, I'm asking when I'm saying, make sure in your contract that they clean and haul off? Because I've seen someone do a cut and they left a lot of stumps and it was just looking crazy.
My forester is going to follow up with everything. And so that's a good thing about having a forester. He actually manages the bidding and deciding on which contract to accept. He actually will come back, and when they begin cutting, to make sure that they're protecting your property and also make sure that they clean up. And he will also come back when it's time to replant. And he has received 10% of the total property value of the wood that you're selling.
So he gets paid after.
And no, he gets paid up front.
Okay. All right. Good information to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, the landowner gets paid up front also.
Nice. Okay.
there's a
Yeah.
question for you, Ms. Ruth. Does the sale tax exemption apply to all types of agricultural farmers?
Yes, agriculture
Yes.
is crop, animals, and trees. South Carolina agricultural tax exemption is crop, animals, or trees. Yes, it is. Governor
I'm-
McMaster passed it in March last year. Not much advertising about it, but it's right
Yeah.
online in Google. Apply. It takes about 2 weeks to get the card. And then with that card, you start going to your regular locations, Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, and then they may have other forms. Once you get that done, like Walmart, I just show that exemption before they check me out, and whatever's on that belt is tax exempt.
Yep. Thank you
I'm
for.
gonna- I'm gonna do mine this week.
So a couple of more questions for you, Miss Emily. Do you get sad after cutting your trees after so long?
No. I've only experienced one cut, and it was interesting to go back and see that nothing was there. But now you can see the new growth. And the majority of, like I said, the majority of our land is naturally generated.
Another question for you. Have you ladies, and Miss Ruth, you can chime in on this one as well. Have you ladies used the same contractor for thinning and clear cutting?
I haven't, this is my first project. This is my first project with cutting. So this is just my first project. I haven't done a thinning.
For
You
me,
use-
yeah, unfortunately for me, I bought the land that I came from DC 14 years ago. And when I bought the land, it was advertised mature trees. And I didn't know what that meant. So they told me who planted the trees, and they'd come back and give me a clear cut. So I learned as I went along. So what Emily's saying, before you do anything, get a forester, a management plan, and a consultant. Because as I came from DC, I've wanted to have my land as a family estate. I was written up in the paper as my mother was. And then when I got the tax bill for 6%, and the former owner showed me their taxes at 4%, I went to Darlington County Tax Assessment. And I said, why am I paying 6? I thought it was racism. All right. And they said, no, it's because they were a tree farm and I incorporated. And so that's when I got the 4%. And then 65 years and older, which I am, you get.
Miss Ruth, we've lost you if you can hear us. I think you may have lost your internet connection, Miss Ruth.
She's in a rural area.
Yeah, Miss Ruth is, okay.
She'll come back.
Let's see, we have any more questions for you, Miss Emily.
Someone asked.
Will you be able to share some of the names of your surveyors?
I can't remember who that surveyor was, but oh, what did I just do?
I see you.
You see me? But anyway, I'm not exact. I will have to probably look through my emails. It was a gentleman that was not far from, I think they were either in Newberry or Winsboro. I would have to, and then I could share it with Miss Benita.
I can send it out.
Of the surveyor who actually
maybe the surveyor and your consultant.
Okay.
Yeah, send me those names and numbers. Someone says, can you type in the second organization? Bobby, can you tell me what were we referring to when you said second, or what were you referring to about the second organization? I'm not clear about that question. If you're still here, Bobby.
NRCS.
Yes. Okay. All right. Great.
I think that was in my last slide.
Okay.
Right before the question.
And hi, Bobby. There was a question I had. Oh, someone asked, was Ruth gonna be at was it the library this weekend? I think I saw that somewhere.
Someone asked, are you going to be at Darlington this weekend?
I think they asked that question when Ruth was speaking.
The next fair that I'm speaking at is the Lamar Library in the Darlington. That's in Lamar, 103 East Main Street in Lamar, and that's on May the 20th. From 12, that's a Saturday, 12 to 2. And my last one is Society Hill on June the 24th, 12 to 2 on a Saturday. But I've already spoken at the Darlington Library on March the 11th, and I was at the Hartsville Library on 3/25. So coming up is May the 20th and June the 24th.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Can you send some names of surveyors? We'll send the ones that they've used. I think that's all of them. Yes, it's been pretty hard I've been trying to get a survey for my property in Hopkins, but they never returned my call. That's from Pam. Yeah, Pam, it's getting tough for surveyors. I called one, but they were really out of my price range. I have some property in Hopkins also. So, but I'll put that name. I'll send one email that will have the name of the survey I called, and when Emily gets hers, and the consultants. Someone said
it's fairly kind of expensive per acre to have surveyed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw someone put in that there's someone in Gilbert. Did you see that, Regina? There's someone in Gilbert. It was in the chat.
I've used R.L. Plattner. He's in Gilbert, Lexington County. This is from Anjanette Dunbar.
Hey, Anjanette. So look,
Hey there, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with RL?
Yeah, he was kind of backlogged. I had needed 8 acres survey down in Saluda County. And I reached out to one of my old co-workers for Richland County Department of Transportation or the Transportation Department. And he gave me 2 surveyors that the county uses. And one was up in the northeast area of Columbia. And then Mr. Plattner was down in the Lexington area. So he was able to come out to Saluda and take care of my survey. For 8 acres, I believe I paid $2,100 for him to survey 8 acres. It was kind of, he was long, took a little while because he was backlogged. Everybody was backlogged. Some didn't show up, some didn't respond, but you know, I had to just wait until it was my turn, and he took care of everything, and he did a good job for us.
I'm
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna put the surveyors that I used
Thank you.
in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they're in the Jenkinsville area, which is, you know, in this area, up country.
Thank you, girl. I told y'all, call Emily and Ruth. Call Emily and Ruth. I'm gonna say it again. So I want to say thank you so much. We are approaching our hour mark. Is Tamika still on the line? The sister who's having an event this week, whose product I'm wearing tonight in her honor. Are you on the line, Tamika?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
All right. Tell us what's going on. I really
Yes.
wish you could see your beautiful face, lady.
There you go. I'm in the car.
Okay.
So we're having a 420 party, planning party this coming Thursday. We have it, it's annual. We have it every year on 420. And like the purpose is really is an educational event. There's so much stigma and bad karma around the word cannabis. So we're trying to reprogram, because there's so many good uses of hemp, and you're wearing some of them now. But we, you know, besides clothes, there's car parts and building supplies and flooring and plastic and batteries and carbon sequestration that people could be, you know, getting money from. So I want everybody to come out. If you're curious about it, you're interested in growing it, we're going to be having educational workshop. We're also going to have hempcrete, a hempcrete workshop, and teaching people how to grow, why you should grow. We'll have horseback riding and food. Just a good time. You get to network and learn all things hemp.
Yes, I'm a witness. I've attended the last 2, and of course I'm gonna be at this one. I plan to go to all of them and learn a lot. And last year I took my grandmother with me, my 96-year-old grandmother. She went to 420 with me. You know what? She called me while I was on the line. That's probably why she called it. She's trying to get in on this party again.
Yes. Just, you know, you can go to our website, bosvillefarms.com, get your tickets.
Yeah, thank you. So we do.
Can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, I put it in there.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. So
Thank
420. You. And I do want to announce that the 26th annual Black Cowboy Festival will be, I think it's the 27th through the 29th. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Greenfield Farm. We'll talk more about that next month. But the Black Cowboy Festival. So again, you know, thank y'all so much for getting on the call. Black women, we rock. It's the takeover time. And when I say takeover, I'm talking about taking over our health and our wealth. We're not trying to take over nobody else's stuff. Let's take over our who we are and be about our business of our good health and our wealth. And that's exactly what these calls address. She said today, $21 billion. It's trees. So we have everything we need in our hands. We're just organizing and working collectively and sharing the information. And this is just, again, you know, it's so beautiful. So again, I thank y'all for being on the call. It's 8 o'clock. If you need to jump off, you can, but I'm staying for the after party. And again, the after party is a time for me to talk to those who want to talk to me, because unfortunately, I can't call everybody back who wants to talk to me. I just don't have enough hours in the day. I wish I could, but I said what I can do is take one day a month at this time and just, have a conversation and talk and answer all questions that anybody has. I know there are a lot of questions about the class. Well, this year's class is closed. Each year, a new class begins. Each year, so the next class will start 2024. However, these monthly calls will be every single month. So you actually in class. It's just a different type, different field. But I want to give a big shout out to my class this year. 20 sisters are in the class this year, and they are rocking. I love them. I tell them every Monday, I'm so excited because that's our class time. It just fills my heart with pure joy to do this. I know I'm called to do it. I call myself the ultimate networker and connector. I am a connector, and it's been a joy. It is such a joy to connect us and see us coming together as sisters, as women, and learn from each other and grow with each other. So again, thank you. If you need to get off, you can jump off now. I'm going to stop the recording and we're going to stay for the after party. Take care for those who need to jump off.
Thanks, everyone. It was a
Thank
pleasure,
you,
my
Emily.
pleasure.
Thank you. And let us know when you have some movies. We'll come. We'll roll by.
All right, okay.
We'll roll 60
Bye-bye.
deep. We're going to be rolling 60 deep.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.